Hi, I'm Natalie Schaffner from Candlelight Trading. Welcome to another Candlelight Trading video. First, please take a minute to read the disclaimer.
All right, now let's take a look at the trades. This was on March 1st, and I had several trades in the Dow that I wanted to show you.
So this first trade here, price had come up into the developing value area low and sold off. And so as it came back up into that area, I took a short. As soon as I saw some sellers stepping in and delta turning negative. And then I added another one as it came back up into that area and delta turned negative again. So you'll see some additional lines on my chart today that I know you haven't seen before. It's based on some Fibonacci that I use that helps me also to determine targets for my trades. So in this trade, I am looking to target down at the black line at the bottom where the price says 24,856. However, I do see that we had some significant buying stepped in just a little bit above the overnight low, so I'll get real cautious there and protect any profit that I have. You'll notice I did take one contract off there. It was kind of flittering around and I wasn't as confident about it, so I took one off and left just one contract on to see where this trade would go. So we'll watch it progress and let's see what happens here. These do take a little bit of time, so I'm going to fast forward the tape a little bit to spare you having to watch the paint dry. So you can see we're a few minutes into this trade. It's still going in my direction. I'm up about $200 on the trade. And at this point, I do move my stop down. I tend to like to follow my stops on those little pivots where buyers came in and kind of couldn't go anywhere, failed. So I just moved my stop down to protect some profit. So this is a no-lose trade at this time. You'll see I did move my stop up just a couple of ticks there. I didn't want to get stopped out by a tick or two, so I gave it just a little bit more room. And then it turned around and continued to go in my direction. So I want it to take out each, prior little pivot low, and then it allows me to tighten up my stop a little bit more. And there it did. So you'll see I'll move my stop down in a minute. And again, just above that little pivot there. So again, just to reiterate, I am ultimately potentially going for the black line down below. We're at 24,857. But again, I am going to be very cognizant of where price turned before, just a little bit above the overnight low. And if I start to see some buying step in there, I'll just take profit. But, I keep an eye on my delta, and I can see that delta is significantly more negative than it is positive. So everything's still going in my direction. You'll notice my profit, I'm now up about $260 to $70 on this trade. So everything's going pretty well so far. And price continues to drop, making a new low. So again, I move my stop just above that little pivot there. That's a great way to trail your stops because that's an area where every time a little bit of buying came in, there just weren't enough buyers to carry price higher, and so it's a good way to just trail your stop down. So we're heading back down close into that low, and so I'm watching to see if I get a change in mood, and at which point I will protect my profit. I'm up $325 on this trade, so certainly don't want to give that all back. So I've got a new little pivot there, and we'll see if we can make a new low again. This time I moved my stop even before we do make the new low, because I'm not convinced that we're going to. Because again, we came back down to where price moved up in the past. So I tightened up that stop, and we'll see what happens here. Not a ton of buying coming in. You can see Delta was very minimally green there. So, but again, I got another little move down, tighten up the stop even a little bit more. Now we're right down at the morning low where it bounced before. So I'm watching it very closely to see if it bounces again. Even on that little pop up, I don't really see any aggressive buying in my candles. My delta is still negative, so I'm just kind of leaving my stop right where it is. Up $360 on this trade, $320 now. And there we go. So I get stopped out right here. So I'm up $340 for the day so far after this trade. So you can see that last trade ended around 955 or so on the chart there, and then did rally up above the VWAP and actually above point of control. And then as it retraced back down, and came in here at the point of control, my expectation was that now that we're inside the value area low and holding, we should head up to at least the value area high. So I'm looking here to enter a trade. I didn't catch it down at the bottom where I would have liked to caught it, but at that point I wasn't 100% convinced that it wasn't going to just roll right back over. So I waited for a little bit of confirmation, a little bit more buying to come in, and I took the long here. This trade here I knew may just be short-lived, but again, based on the fib system that I use, my first target would be that thin black line up at the top at 25,000.0066. So I've been able to take my understanding of the market that I got through learning about auction market theory and order flow and all of those things from Kai Whitney, and combine that with my style of trading using Fibonacci and looking to order flow for proper execution of my trades. So we can see that this trade is moving up. It's now pushed above the VWAP, that's that yellow line there, and heading toward my target. So we shall see if it gets there. So up $175 on this trade so far, just a little over $500 for the day. It did get to target. Now I could have just taken profit right there, and if I had two contracts I would take one off there, but I wanted to see if it would continue up to the value area high, that thin purple line up at the top. So I kind of waited and gave it a little bit of room here. But I think soon you'll see I see those couple wicks coming in, so I stick a hard stop in there. At this point, I'm not going to let it go below the yellow line, which is the VWAP. And there was also a little wick there too on the candle a couple candles ago. And there we go. So it took me out. Now up $450 for the day, at about what it looks like it's about 10:15 in the morning, so off to a pretty good start. So I am still expecting that price is going to move up to that value area high, and that's the purple line up there, and that's a fair amount of room yet. So I'm watching price as it pulls back down into the area where it bounced before. We are back near the point of control, and we start to get a bounce. So I start watching to see if buyers step in here again. And of course, because we're at point of control, it chops around for a little bit, and it may just chop and I'll do nothing. But if we push up and break back above that VWAP, the yellow line, and I get some buying in there, I will take this long, which, as you'll soon see, is exactly what happened. So I took it long here, and I wasn't going to give this a whole lot of space. Basically, if it sold off below the VWAP right away, I'd get in again. I would just get out. But it didn't. It continued on up. And so my target on this mentally is up at the value area high. Now at prior day low, pushing up through and pushing toward value area high. Now that black line up at the top there at 25,083, that's another target that is set by my fib system that I use, but I know perfectly well that this trade may halt there at the value area high, or maybe just a little bit above it. So we'll watch and see what it does as it heads up there. We're also, if you'll notice, right at where we turned before. It's kind of hesitating here, but I won't let it go below that pivot low there around 25.10. In fact, in my silliness, I tried to put a stop there, and I accidentally bought a second contract. So instead of putting a sell stop, I put a buy stop, gave me a second one. As soon as I realized I did that, I took that one right off, made a couple extra ticks on it. It was like a bonus. So now it's heading up. We are back at the value area high. Kind of a tight stop here. I want to make sure this is at least a no-lose trade, but if it heads all the way up to that other area up the top, that other black line, that would be a great profit as well. So I don't want to let this turn into a loser. Comes very close to my stop. I'm looking at that and I'm thinking, yeah, they're going to sell this off lower. So I exited the trade by hitting flatten, and before I could pull my sell stop order, of course it triggers and gets me in short. But that's all right. I figured I could take a few ticks out of this as well. And so I just took that off for another, I don't know, $50 or so. So up $740 so far for the day. And I think I got another trade that I was going to show you. So we'll fast forward the tape and see if I can find that one. So you can see now that price has just been chopping up and down around the point of control, the thin pink line there. And you'll see I'm up $890 for the day. I did catch another scalp, way up at the top there, and just scalp it for 10 here, 10 there. But I did want to show you this trade here. As price pulled in again to the VWAP and held really kind of clean at that level. Didn't go all the way down to the lower end where it had been. I took the long again, and this time I was waiting to see if it's going to push through that high that we had over there and continue to rally up. even possibly to that second target that I have there from my fib system. So we head back up, and we're back up now at the developing value area high. Again, we get a little bit of wick in here, but if you'll notice over at my order flow bars, I don't really have selling step in, just a little bit, very little negative delta. So I'm going to kind of give this a little bit of room and wait. I'm already up $195, $200 on this trade. Every time a little bit of selling steps in, it just gets absorbed and more aggressive buying. So now I'm aiming for that top target there at 25,092 and up over $1,000 for the day. So this is a really nice day, and we'll see if we can get there. By the way, while we're watching this trade, I'll let you know that I do have a live trading room that's going to be opening on Monday, March 5th. So I hope that you'll come and join me, and you can practice taking these trades with me, maybe in a sim account while you're learning. And I would love to see you there. So we got some little bit of tails there, and it's pulling back a little bit, but as long as I stay above the value area high, I'm going to hold out for my target. But if I see price dip below that value area high, I'll just hit the flatten button and get me on out of there. So you can see I got my hand kind of right on the button and ready, but it holds, it comes there, it holds, and oh, it's dipping below. I'm going to give it a couple of ticks because I'm up enough on the trade that I can give it a little bit of room. I'm going to put a hard stop in here just below the first target that I had, that 25,034. So I put a hard stop in there. No matter what, this is a no-lose trade. You'll notice the interesting thing is that this order flow bar here on the right on the black chart, although that bar dipped lower and it did have some sellers in there, if you look at delta, delta is just positive. So I felt it was worth holding out on this trade to see if it could make it up there. I also noticed that above there is the overnight high. So sometimes we will go retest that level. So I didn't feel like my target was unrealistic. So I'm giving it a little room, a little bit of time. We'll see what it does. I'll fast forward the tape a little bit so that you can see what happens. Hang on one second. So you can see I fast forwarded the tape and it is almost to my target there. Up $415 on this trade, and there it just hit my target. So I take my stop and I am gonna snug it up because that's a little over $400 on one contract in the Dow. I'm not gonna complain about that. So you will see that I get stopped out here very soon, and you'll notice my profit right now is at 1,325 for the day, but where I get stopped out, I end the day with $1,290 of profit. Not too bad. It's 10:30 in the morning. To learn more about how I trade and for daily trading opportunities, please visit my website and sign up to join my trade room now. The trade room opens this Monday, March 5th. Also, click on the link that says Grand Opening in the comments section below and sign up to receive a coupon code for an additional $50 off the already discounted price of your first month in my room. If you'd like to learn more about institutional order flow and market auction theory, visit www.imftracker.com or email me to find out about special pricing for the IMF Tracker and the Trade Room package. Thanks, and hope to see you soon.